All right, so thank you for coming live. Can you explain what is happening in France and why and what your role is? So what is happening in France is a conjuncture of different factors who basically create, like, emerge one enemy, which is the president. Like, people are waking up on the fact that the president doesn't work for us. The president is working for foreign interests, and basically the people are done with that. They don't want to um, elect false masters, because like election is about choosing your masters, and first of all we don't want to choose a master, and we don't want to choose a master that doesn't work for us and works for the international finance um, corporation entities or whatever. So that's what's happening in France. My role is just the role of a citizen, trying to wake people up on the true nature of the soft dictatorship we all living in, that we call democracy. Democracy has nothing to do um, with what what we've been sold. Good day, hi Christopher. Democracy, the way we've been programmed to believe, is basically a form of soft dictature, and the French people are starting to find out that truth, and also what is the remedy, because like you cannot cure anything until you identify the true nature of your disease. So I know New Zealand knows that pretty well, because you guys fought against the invader and you did that amazingly. Unfortunately, I don't know New Zealand very well. I would love to know New Zealand very well. I lived in Sydney for years, and one of my dreams was to go in New Zealand. But as far as I'm concerned, the way that I see what's happening in New Zealand is that they won over you through division. Like, they divided you, they exacerbate that fighting concept that you guys had between the tribes, and they won by separating you. Where if you guys could actually just come together against one enemy, which is the finance, the international financial system, the political corruption, and all that, like you guys could actually get your island back. Um, so next question, what are you hoping to achieve with the protest? So what we're hoping to achieve with the protest is, first of all, to destroy the boundaries that we all have together, like making everyone's realize that we're all brothers and sisters, that we all, no matter if we are from the left or the right, or if we're Muslim or Christian or whatever religion you want to have, we're all humans. This is the smallest common denominator. Like, we all have a body, all our blood is red, like we all bleed red. And this is what people need to remember, like beyond the separation, like we can have different opinions, there's absolutely no problem with that, but that those opinions shouldn't be the excuse to fight against each other. So like, and this wisdom has been entirely lost in our so-called democracy. And the remedy that we found is actually quite simple. It is called the RIC. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to repeat that again and again and again and again until people will put that into their brain, because this is the easiest and simplest and the most peaceful remedy to our all misery. It's called RIC, and RIC is the acronym for Referendum Initiated by the Citizens. So let me explain you what it is for those of you who didn't yet understand how simple and how amazing and how powerful it is. So with just those three letters, RIC, a referendum initiated by the citizen, the concept is about writing in the constitution a right to trigger national referendum from people's and citizens' initiative. So let's say, for example, you have 1%, 2%, 3% of the population who find that there's a law or a concept or a cause that needs to be discussed with the rest of the population. with that right, with that constitutional right. So it has to be written in the constitution, because if it's not in the constitution, it's useless. With that constitutional right, you guys could actually trigger a national referendum asking to the rest of the population what do they think about this idea. By doing that, you are bypassing like politics, political parties, whatever, anything that has been designed to separate people. You can transcend that and reunify the whole community together around one question, one simple question. Do you believe that we should reduce the age of retirement, for example? Like, do you believe like, and this shouldn't be decided by the elected people. It has to be decided by we the people, because if we don't understand that those people are our employees and we are the employer, then the employees is taking over the business, and the employees is destroying the business basically. So this is what's going on today with our so-called democracy. The democracy, let's see that as a business. The president, which is our employees, is telling us what he decide that we should do in the business, but it doesn't make any sense. Those people are here to manage and administrate the business. They're not here to make any decisions against our will. And until people will realize that, and realize that they shouldn't fight for anything else than the right to trigger national referendum. With that right to trigger national referendum, you could fix all your problems in the blink of an eye. So this is what I'm hoping to achieve. We are not the majority yet. Not all the French people knows about this concept, but it's coming. It's coming slowly. Only 14% of our population as of 2016 is rural now. Yes, this is horrible. This is horrible what's happening, and this is all intentionally developed to separate people from nature, separate people from their connection to the land, and also dividing them, because the more you get to big cities, the more you become vulnerable. The more you're vulnerable, the easier prey, I don't know, yeah, maybe prey, easier prey you become for the system, because if you're vulnerable, then the system justifies its existence. A system can only exist if people use it. So now the government understood that, and if no one wants to use the government, then the government will disappear. So therefore, they create the chaos in order to justify their existence. And we need to understand those mechanisms. Those mechanisms need to be integrated so we can transcend what separates us through like completely useless illusional paradigm, like, oh, are we for marriage equality or not? Like, seriously, people are dividing themselves around the idea that people should get married or not, if they're gay or not. Like, seriously, guys, do we not have more important things to talk about? So yeah, like the idea is to transcend the separation, because the system will only conquer through division. And if it's succeeding in dividing us, then we maybe don't worth that much. Like, maybe they're right. Maybe they think we're stupid, and maybe if we act as stupid people, if we're not organizing ourselves, if we're not controlling ourselves, then therefore they're right. There seems to be some violence in the protest. What is your stand on that? So as far as I'm concerned, the violence only is coming from cops, because the Yellow Vest is officially a peaceful protest movement. The Yellow Vest doesn't want to fight the cops because we have no interest doing that. But when you come hand behind your back, on your knee, and the cops are in front of you, and suddenly they come and they beat you and they send bombs on you, you're like, what the hell? And that's the only thing that people see online. They just see the violence because that's the only narrative that the media can use to discredit the movement. They're saying, oh, they are violent, they're violent. But wait a second, who is violent? Like, we are peaceful protesters. We are moms and dads going in the street with their kids or their grandmother and basically wear a yellow vest. That's all we do. That's how it started. And like, the violence that we see is most of it in Paris. And this is basically people who are, some of them are like coming from poor poor suburb, and just want to come to express their violence. But this has nothing to do with a yellow vest. Like anyone can wear a yellow vest. So if someone is violent and just want to express its violence and wear a yellow vest, like it doesn't mean that the yellow vests are violent people, not at all. But yeah, and those of them, some of them are coming from those poor area, and some other people who are violent are actually paid by the government. They are infiltrated cops, and we filmed some of them, infiltrated cops who are protecting their face and have like a lot of artificial protection they have absolutely nothing to do with a peaceful protest. They're here to pay to break things, to create chaos, so therefore the government can justify the need to bring back order. It's again the same concept. They always do that. They bring chaos, and therefore they can justify their existence. So guys, please be a little bit smarter than the media, because the media again are controlled by the same people who are putting in place our representatives. Representatives are not working for the people, they're working for the people who paid for the elections. And the media are the same. Like, we believe that the media were the counterpower. Well, guess what? It is not. We are the counterpower. We, the people, are the power, the true power. And until we will claim that power and impose the RIC, we will be vulnerable, powerless, and useless, basically. So we do have citizens-initiated referenda in this country. It could do earth strengthening, but it exists. Be careful with that, because as far as I'm concerned, no country in the world have a referendum that can be triggered by citizens. So they will always tell you, oh yeah, we already have that, but oh, by the way, you need to sign a petition and send it to your senators, and your senators maybe is going to consider it, blah blah blah. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a constitutional right to trigger referendum, national referendum from our own initiatives, not begging to be listened, not asking to have a referendum, not like filling any forms, so maybe they're going to consider the referendum. We trigger the referendum. We need to have a legal right, a legal structure that allows us to trigger that referendum. Be careful with that. They're really good at telling you, oh, it already exists. Don't worry, just go back to work. We're going to take care of that. Don't listen to them. We beat ourselves through allowing division. Yes, Benjamin, entirely right. The only enemy is ourselves and our belief system. The belief system that we are not one, that someone else is like separated from myself and all that. This is the enemy. The enemy is our beliefs that we are not brothers and sisters. And those guys, like, they spend 24/7 trying to exacerbate that feeling. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Yes. So what have we learned recently that has surprised you? What have I learned? Unfortunately, not much, because I already knew all that for years. Like that RIC, I studied that RIC for years. I tried to speak about that, but you know, when people are in their comfortable zone, they don't really want to contest. They don't really want to protest. And this is exactly what's happening in Australia. Like, Australia is slowly losing its soul. Like, the country is tears apart. Like, governments are selling like lands and things, and they're selling resources so we can purchase the resources back. This is pathetic. This is ridiculous. But there's still enough for the, I don't know, like 20 or 30 million people to live and be happy. So as long as the people are happy, they will not get involved in politics. And this is unfortunately what's happening in most of the parts in the world. And we are lucky in France to have such an asshole and such a stupid president that he basically pushed the agenda until we had no other choice than getting out and saying no. Not enough, like not anymore. We draw that line on the sand and we will not go beyond that. But if we didn't do that, like, they would just continue. Like, they just want to transform Europe into China, basically. So as they cannot bring enough Chinese in Europe, they now are planning to bring African. So that's what they are organizing. They're organizing a massive immigration of Africans. So we will continue fighting each other because you're going to bring someone that has nothing to do with your culture, and that is going to be happy to work for $5 an hour. And like, so then you cannot protest. Why are you not paid like $15 or $20 an hour? Because someone else will work for $5. So like, you will actually be happy to have a job even if you're working for $8 an hour or $10 an hour, because someone else will work for $5. And that's the mentality. We are just pawns, and they're just playing with us. And until those psychopaths, because that's what they are. The big finance are covered with psychopaths, people who are so disconnected with reality that they believe that we're just here to serve them, that we're slaves, that we're here to produce their toys and generate money for them. But until we wake up to that truth and we all come together and decide to draw that line on the sand, they will just continue and continue and continue, because this is what psychopaths are doing. Psychopaths do what psychopaths do. They just do the things until we stop them. And the way that French people found is to simply wear a yellow suit, go out and stop doing things. So unfortunately, not all of them are doing that, but we have a massive support from the population. So what we are doing in France is basically striking big influence flu roads, like, because that's how economy works. It needs to be fluid. So the way you can actually control and have a voice is to stop that flu. So we're blocking highway, we're blocking like frontier, we are stopping the ports and airports, and we basically stop the flu. And just by doing that, we're starting to be listened. So yeah, that's actually quite simple, but we need to come together. If one person is doing, if 2% is doing, it's useless. Sorry. If millions are doing it, which is our case, then suddenly the government is walking back, and that's what is actually happening. For the first few weeks, they send us the cops and the gendarmerie to beat us, and those videos has been viral all across the world. But the violence is not coming from us; it's coming from them. We are only protecting ourselves when people are coming and beating us. And now that we, I believe, reached the point of no return, they will have no choice except leaving the chair and do some new elections. Meanwhile, we hope that we're going to be able to create our own yellow suit party that will only have one purpose, which is to install the referendum initiated by the citizen in the constitution. So it's a very simple strategy. You block the country, then you stay together, you don't divide yourself. There's only one solution, and it's the RIC, referendum initiated by the citizen. If we have that in the constitution, the game is over for them. I hope all of you understand that now. So when did last hear from your government? So we heard about the government 2 days ago, and I can tell you it was very funny. This guy was terrified. He was putting his hand like this, and he was looking at the camera, and his face wasn't making any expression, like his eyebrows wasn't moving. He was entirely in control of his body, because inside this guy is terrified, because he knows that we're coming from him, and that's not going to be beautiful. The media are corrupt and controlled by the government and the corporation. Yes, John, we need to understand that. That's why we need to come together. We need to create our own alternative media and work together. Facebook is a good start, but it's not enough. We know that Facebook is also controlled by them. So they're doing like keywords control. They're doing censorship. So like we can't just rely on Facebook. The signal is not good. I don't understand. The indigenous here have a contract of sovereignty with the Queen here that has never been honored. How could that help? I don't know. I can't answer this question, because for me, like, until we have a voice to trigger a referendum, like, none of that is really relevant. if tomorrow you could trigger a referendum, a national referendum, asking that in the constitution there would be an application of that indigenous sovereign contract with the Queen, then you can do something. Until you have the right to modify the constitution by yourself, all the contract that has been signed up by the entity with whoever other entity in the past will be you will be excluded of it. You will not have any right to speak about it. So again, like, this is a perfect example of how they can divide us, saying, oh yeah, we have that contract, this is not okay, no, 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 no. And instead of fighting the cause, we are basically blaming the consequences. So, oh yeah, we have that contract signed, blah blah blah. We don't care about what people signed up in the past. This is irrelevant. What is relevant is what can we do today to change what has been done in the past? What can we impose today that can completely shift what happened in the past? So yeah, again, if we're focusing on what others did, we are not doing anything. We are not moving forwards. What are we doing every day? That's what is important. Oh, signal is breaking up. Okay. Oh, okay, it's my internet who is not good. Sorry. Can you please tell me if it's true only one person has died? Is there more? Someone said there was 700. Not true, isn't it? Also injured. Yeah, no, there was probably about a few hundred people injured. That's for sure. As far as I'm concerned, I think there's maybe 5 people who died. 5 people, including an old lady, a protester who's been killed by a car who didn't want us to stop or slow down the traffic. That's unfortunately the type of behavior you see when people don't understand. They just get in panic mode and they do stupid things. But yeah, from the government, I think there's probably 3 people who has been killed. But of course, they're not going to talk about this. But yeah, a few hundred people injured, yes. Yes, mainly from the people, not that much from the cops. Because the cops have armored, like they have masks, they have CACs, they have shield, they're fully equipped. We have this, like, so when they come and they beat us, like, there's people who lose their hands, a lady who loses an eye, broken nose, exploded cheeks, like, it's pretty disgusting. And this is all coming from the people. It doesn't come from the cops. So how did you get so many people to commit? As I said, we were lucky enough to have a stupid president, and we basically all decided that was enough. So he's the one who basically pushed all of us to come together. But now that movement started, you can just wear that yellow suit, go out, write RIC in your back, so the people will ask you, but what is this RIC about? What is it? Oh, it's like, there's 3 steps. When someone is asking you what the RIC is, you basically ask them, okay, do you have one revendication that should be applied tomorrow in the country? And there's many. Like, it could be, we want our country back, we want to be sovereign, we want to, like, kick away white people. I don't know what you guys want to say. And that's the first question. The second question is about, okay, do you think this question you should have the right to ask their opinion to the rest of the population? And normally the people would say, yes, of course. Like, I think my revendication should be listened by the rest of the population. And then the third step is to basically say, congratulations, you just understood what RIC is about. RIC is about claiming back our power to make decisions for ourselves. So when you think that you have an idea or something that we need to fight for, it's great, it's in your brain, but how are we going to implement it in the system? And as we don't have a legal right to do that, it has to become violent, because those people doesn't listen to us. They only listen to us when we start to get in strike and we're starting to get violent, because they're not working for us. They're working for other interests. So until people realize that we are powerless, not because we are not powerful, but we're powerless because in that structure that we call a system or a nation or government, like in that system, they program us to be powerless just by not giving us a legal power to to stop them, to block them. The signal is not good. I don't know. Can't hear anything. Sorry, guys. Do you hear me well, John Tell? Is it everyone that doesn't hear me well? I will record it and upload it after, so everyone can hear the message. I will upload it and record it. So do I have any advice with New Zealand? Just get interested into the referendum initiated by the citizen. You need to understand the concept. You need to put your head around and understand what it is. And then you need to organize yourself and structure yourself to only fight for one idea. Because if you all come with 25 ideas, then someone will say, oh, I don't think this is the best thing we should do. Oh, I don't think that is the best thing I should do. If you just come with a RIC and say we need to have a constitutional right to trigger a national referendum, and everyone agree with that, then there will be no division and you can actually win. So my only advice is to have one idea that can change all the rest. And then you just spread the message, explain to everyone that it's time for everyone to come together. Can the movement become global? Can all countries start protesting? The whole system and most governments are corrupt and broke. Referendum voting on issues type systems sound like it could work worldwide. Mate, it's already happening. It's already happening. The yellow suits are in Canada, in Indonesia, in Australia, in New Zealand with you guys, in South America. I'm receiving messages from all over the world. Like, it's already happening. We just need to do it. We just need to be consistent and do it every day, until people come to you and say, oh, what this is all about. And when they're going to listen to the idea and they're like, oh, wow, it's that simple. We just need a referendum. That's it. Then they will basically move with you. Now, yes, but often no. Okay, I don't know. I think you're amazing for having the courage to stand up. I'm just a dad. That's it. I'm just a dad who wants a better future for my children. That's it. If any of you are parents and they are done hoping that the future is going to get better, because it obviously is not, like, just take your yellow suit, go out and fight for your children, fight for your grandchildren, fight for your grandchildren, but also fight for your grandparents, your great-grandparents. The whole history, your whole lineage is looking at you right now. And they say, what the hell are you doing? Are you happy to be a slave working for foreign entities? Are you happy to be exploited? Are you happy to be just a wheel in a mechanism that is breaking you and breaking your value? Like, are you happy? Are you happy of that? If you don't, then what the hell are you doing? What the hell? I'm not courageous. I'm ready to die. Like, I prefer dying in like trying to change the world than basically be giving my energy to feed a system that is destroying everything that I'm standing for. So it's not that complicated. It's like buying a yellow suit and go out. Like, who can't do that? Tell me, who cannot do that? The people who believe their beliefs, who believe that, oh no, I'm weak or I'm powerless or I can't do that, or I'm only powerful if I'm surrounded by people. No. Just start with one person who's going to bring another person, who's going to bring another person. It's starting today, right now. Think about it. Not tomorrow, not after tomorrow, right now. Organize yourself. Take your yellow suit, write the RIC behind, and starting to film. Film yourself. Use your phone. Your phone is the strongest tool we have today, because with one phone and a Facebook Live, you can touch thousands of people in just a few minutes. My videos that I made yesterday has been seen by 100,000 people in 24 hours. 100,000 people in 24 hours. It's going to be seen by millions before the end of the week. And this video has the power to trigger that movement. And the more video are going to come, the more the people are going to feel that momentum, and that they're going to want to join the movement. So it's not about me. I'm just one pawn. I'm just like one simple guy trying to educate people about that simple idea. Referendum initiated by the citizen. Referendum initiated by the citizen. Don't think about anything else. We need a voice to impose our voice, not just to be listened or to beg to be listened, to impose what we are and who we are. It goes funny then. Okay. Can hear you well. Okay. I can hear most of it. Cool. What is the media coverage like there? Our media don't cover news. The French police at breaking point. Yeah, the media doesn't cover anything. They're employed by the same rich people. Like today, 98% of the French media belong to 9 billionaires. So like we are not expecting anything from the media. That's why we're using alternative media to share that message. So don't believe the media, believe yourself. Again, the French police is at breaking point. Not really, because the French police understand what we're doing and they are exactly in the same situation. They know that there's something wrong. They know, like, there's different level of police. There's the government police, which is called the CRS, and the police, which is like normal people, mums and dads, and they are exactly in the same position that us. The only thing is that they cannot wear that yellow suit, but things are moving forwards, things are changing. A lot of people are waking up, even the police. Even the police is like, yeah, we understand that we are not protecting the people, we are not protecting international financial interests. And as soon as you guys are determined to speak the truth, they will understand. I can tell you, they will understand and they will not fight against you. Or put their own spit on it. Yep. So binding referendum is really the way to go. The way to the voice of the people is really listened to. Yes, there's no other choice. We don't like today. They allow us freedom of speech. It's not about freedom of speech. It's about the capacity to influence politics with our freedom of speech. And right now, it's a weak referendum that we have. Like we have just the right to speak. That's it. Luckily, I don't know for how long, but we have the right to speech. It's not about the right of speech, the freedom of speech. It's about the freedom to impose what you think is true, what is common sense to people who don't understand that, because they're locked into their own paradigm. They're locked into what they can and what they cannot do based on the people who tell them what to say. Like they're all puppets. Like if you really believe that the politicians are not puppets, like you need to wake up. Those people are actors. They have a script, they read the script, and the script has to be validated by people in the shadow that you never see. So like, yeah, I heard some ignorant person who said yellow vest is a French issue, this is New Zealand. What is your response? I said, if the people believe that our problem is separated from their problem, then the people above won. Because that's what they do. They're like, oh yeah, like what's happening in New Zealand is not connected to what's happening in France, which is not connected to the global economy. So they want us to be globalist as long as they can produce for cheap and sell with a big margin. Globalism is perfectly fine in that space. But as soon as some people are protesting against what's going on and they want to bring a solution, then oh, globalism doesn't work anymore. Like guys, be smarter than that. Like those people, like indeed ignorant people, like just make them realize that we're all connected. It's globalism. So if something is going on in France, New Zealand people should listen and say like, what you guys are talking about? What's happening? And this is what I'm doing right now. I'm here to bring my voice to the people so they can realize that it's absolutely not what media are saying. But this needs to go bigger. Like more and more people needs to listen to alternative truth and do their own thing. As I said, take your yellow suit, go out, write Rick in your back, and film yourself. This is powerful. That could impact billions of people on Earth. Like if we can see that there's movements happening in Canada, in Ottawa, in New Zealand, in Australia, in Africa, in China, like whoa, what's happening here? It's not just France or New Zealand, it's the whole world understanding that something is wrong. Power to the people. Yes, brother. Movement of the people. Yes. We all want a better future for our children and our grandchildren. Yes. So what are we waiting for? Yellow suit, Rick, go out in the street. That thing is not a French thing. It's yellow. Yellow is the color of hope. This is the kind of thing that you can see in the dark. Think about the symbology. This is the color that we all see in the darkness, and we're all in darkness right now. We're all in darkness, maintaining darkness by the people in power. So, like, this is the last question because I need to go. Do you have any action tips or advice on growing our numbers? I just repeat it again and again and again. Take your suit, write Rick behind, go out and film yourself and do live videos to bring more and more and more people. Share that with all your friends. Share this video with all your contacts. Go into Messenger and share that video with all your contacts saying, oh, this is that message of that French guy. What do you think about it? Is it crazy? Is he crazy? Or does it make sense somewhere? And wait for the people to basically come back to you and say, okay, like, where do we start? It starts now. And what we need now is women. And I know how powerful women are in New Zealand and in Australia, because this is not violent. It's a peaceful protest. We just need mums and dads and grandmother to go out, wear their suit and say enough is enough until you have an audience. And when the people comes and say, okay, what do you want? We want a right to put a referendum in the constitution. This is as simple as that. And I can tell you, the people in France are terrified. They are terrified about this idea, because the whole concept of government is you vote for us and we then take power over you and tell you what to do. If tomorrow you have the possibility to reduce their power and make them accountable, they are terrified about this idea. They know that they have no argument about that, because the whole concept is about democracy is we take power from the people. Say, great, we are for democracy. We want democracy too. Good job. We want a referendum. Do you want to give it to us? And if they said no, you say, wait a second. You're saying that you say that you take power from us, and you don't want us to express ourselves, is that right? And this is like cognitive dissonance. It's like it doesn't make any sense. You're like, wait a second, think about it for a minute. You tell us that you get your power from us, and you don't want us to say anything about what you're doing. That doesn't make any sense. So it's a no-go zone. Like they just go in limbo. If you basically push the referendum triggered by the people, they will have nothing to say except like, oh, there's violence and those people are crazy, and that's all they can say. That's all they can do. Yellow Western Zone, cool. What is the outcome for humanity in France? Like that, I just talk about this for half an hour. The outcome is freedom for humanity, sovereignty for citizens and people, and sovereign people and indigenous people. As soon as we're going to have the right to have that referendum, one of the first referendum would probably be, should we like give back land to indigenous people, blah blah blah, and there should be a national debate, not just elected people that has to decide that. It has to belong to the community, not to the people elected. Thank you, Pip. Happy to be here. Thank you for we keep in touch and keep the updated of the Yellow Vest. Thank you very much for having me, guys. I will download it and upload it. If you want to be in touch with me, my Facebook group is Rick Referendum Initiated Citizen on Facebook, and you can actually get update from all across the world. I'm going to try to put videos from UK, from New Zealand, I'm going to upload it on that page as well, so everyone will see that it's not just me, it's not just France, it's the whole world waking up. Thank you very much. Have a good day, a good night, and speak to you soon. Bye bye.